Hey guys, this is Troy from Country Wood Products, and today I'm putting money in the bank. This is my investment in my future. So over here, I'm opening up a new bank account. This is what I compare to a high yield savings account or a high yield investment. And I'll explain that here as we go. This wood here is heavy. It's got a high percentage of moisture. So I'm putting it over here, farthest away from the front where I work the most, to mature as your savings or your investment would mature. The longer you leave it in, the more its value grows. Quite literally the same with the firewood here, because right now its value is quite low, being wet and heavy. But you leave it in the bank long enough here, and as you would watch your savings account grow through interest, literally the value of the wood is going to grow exponentially as it matures, dries out. So I'm always saying, every time I'm bringing wood home, if it's wet, I say that's money in the bank. That's just money in the bank. I don't get upset. If it's dry, wet, I don't care, because money in the bank, it's going to grow, it's going to mature, it's going to become more valuable. Depending on where you live, firewood has dry and seasoned firewood has a certain value, but when it's green or still wet, it has a much lower value. So you let that wood just dry out and mature like your investment would, and literally watch your investment grow. It's pretty cool. That's why I call it my savings account. Now right along here is what I would call my more mature savings account. This wood's been sitting here for a month or two, and it's getting down to where it'll be burnable pretty soon. So this wood or this investment is maturing as the time passes, and it's nearing maturity, the time for it to sell. I could sell this now for a discount, but I could wait a little bit longer and sell for the full price. So this is my older savings account or investment, and it's literally, I mean, the parallels are just incredible to an investment or a savings account. Now right here is what I call my wallet. This is dry, ready to go. This can go out at any time. And it's funny, but the same as in real life, your wallet usually doesn't hold as much as your savings account, and that's very literal here. Very much true. This is ready to burn, dry, aged, and mature, ready to go at any time. This is cash, convertible to cash at any time. Right there, ready to go. Now over here is another one of my investments. When I bring in a load out of the woods, and I'm going to go into detail on an upcoming video that I'm planning. I've seen some questions on the channel, and I plan on answering those questions for you. But when I go out in the woods, the top portion of the tree is usually dry and ready to burn. The next third, I should say, is almost dry, and I'll show you a close-up of this in a minute. And then the bottom third is pretty heavy and wet. I mean, like really wet. So this stuff here, you can see, and I'm going to show you close up, is really, I mean, by the time I split this open and stack it a week or two, and this stuff will be ready to go. The whiter colored, very much drier looking wood. As soon as I split that open, that's going to be ready to go. But then I've got more that's going into my savings account later. I'll show you in this same pile. I'll be sorting it on the fly. This one is one of the dry ones, and I'll show you a close-up here. As I said, it's really splitting deeply, even since I cut it. Even when it's medium dry, is that still in the camera right here? This one here is more damp than this one. And it's splitting, and I'll show you that. Now this one was really wet. That was down near the bottom. That was closer to a crook in the tree, down to the bottom third of the tree. And it's so wet, it's actually got ice forming on it. I mean, it's really, really wet. It was just seeping moisture when I cut it. And the cracking is less obvious. So let me grab the camera and zoom in and show you what I'm talking about. You've got here some really deep cracks forming in this wood. And they're expanding by the minute. I mean, quite literally sometimes if the sun breaks out, it'll sound like popcorn popping out here. Look at this one. It's actually got a ring split on the inside. So these will start splitting as soon as I cut them open because they're nearly dry. The outer edge actually is quite dry. The inside is still a little damp. This is up near the top part of the tree more. And then over here, I was showing you, here's another one. There's an inner crack forming. Deep, deep cracks coming down inside. This one is going to be dry very, very quickly once I open that up. Now one of the more medium dry ones, it's splitting on the outside. You can see it's dry on the outside, but you can almost see the darkness in the middle. It was more obvious when I first cut it. But even this one has got a little bit of hairline cracks coming inside, but the outer rim is much drier. And then you got this one, which is just wet, heavy wet. That one there you can tell is really wet. It's not even trying to split or crack at all. That's just sitting there since I cut it. This one here, really wet. I can feel it. You can actually feel how wet it is. These I just got yesterday. Little crack in the middle starting to form. But this one will take a lot longer to dry. Generally the ones with the bark, although it was a dead tree, are going to be much, much more damp and have much more moisture content. Here's one where the bark was peeling, but still some bark on, going to be very much more wet. Here, again, the bark is peeling, but still has bark on, a lot more wet inside. This one, no bark left at all, and really, really, I mean, this outer part, 2 inches, I could shave that off, split that off on the splitter, and that's ready to go. The inside will take a couple weeks, but I'm going to get into another video on how I dry my wood here, because I saw some questions in the comments about how do you dry your wood so fast. Well, there's a big difference in dry versus green and what part of the tree you're talking about too. It makes a huge difference, but that'll be another video. So when I get a load on like this, I just smile and say, that's just money in the bank, no big deal, that's just money in the bank. That's literally what I say when I'm driving back with a load like this. It's all good in the end. So I want to continue putting my deposit in the bank account. Meanwhile, please like this video and please do subscribe if you haven't. Stay tuned for some cool and fun videos, firewood processing, sawmilling, and more. Talk to you all later.